Flashpoint Ebontis, man. What do we have going on here? Who do we have here with us?
Oh,
What's
we
going
got
on?
a special guest in the house. So those of you guys who've been out in the gaming world at all on the YouTube, this guy has been doing it for a while now. Definitely had an explosion. Shout out to his growth recently. Definitely well deserved. But the man of the intros, I can't do this as well. Definitely not going to claim to be. But the man of the intros, Lord Cognito. Let's go ahead and get our special guest his introduction and get him going. So here we go.
Yeah, man. We got royalty in the building, so we got to do it. We got to give it Iron Lord podcast treatment right now. So, welcome to the realm of Flashpoint, episode number 40. And it's a glorious Saturday afternoon, and we are back at the round table here on Destiny's Day. I'm extremely excited about our special guest, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord whose meteoric rise as a Destiny content creator has truly been remarkable to watch. Not only does this Lord continually have his finger on the pulse of the community, but his passion is evident in everything he does, from his amazing Weapon Versus series, Raid Guides for Dummies, and Weapon Set Rankings. Introducing the creator and host of the KackisHD YouTube channel and recent member of the 700,000 subscriber club. Destiny's true king of the North when it comes to passion, humor, and honesty. And today, making his debut into the realm of Flashpoint, my man, Lord Rick Kackis HD. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. Dang, you didn't undersell that Lord of the Intros there. Oh my
No,
god.
no, no. That's why I was like, I totally passed that bar to him because definitely can't keep up. It's crazy.
Let's go. Kackis is in the building, man. Huge fan, man. First of all, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
No doubt, man. Good to have you in here. We're gonna talk some Destiny, have some fun. So let's get into it, man. Ebons, what we got going, man?
Well, I mean, got a good tweet to talk about. We'll get to that one later from a very, high-ranking individual. We've got TWAB to talk about. We've got Thunderlord that everybody has been enjoying. Videos coming out about that. It has been kind of a really fun gun to use, getting it a little lackluster, but we'll get into those pieces. And we finally got official dates for what is to come next.
Yes.
So, without too much going on, we'll jump into this week at Bungie. So many of you guys know, Thunderlord is here.
Woo!
So first thing, for those of you guys that have it, let's talk about it. How's the gun?
Oh man, I think first of all, man, I got to shout out Kackis on this one. I mean, I saw his video, and I said, let me get this, hurry up, get this Ives quest done. And man, it is even better than I thought it was, man. This thing is amazing. I'm gonna let Kackis jump in because he's got some great versus videos and content on there. How you feeling about Thunderlord, man?
It's nuts. Like it's one of those. It's one of the very few weapons where obviously, yeah, I've tested it in a couple of raids now and stuff, and it has some perks that lend it to single target damage. Where you shoot a target and it'll start lightning chaining, even if it's just one target, which is super important. And also the increase in rate of fire, so it's really good against DPSing like a single target. So much so that you're able to cheese a Riven, you're able to it just melts Callus, it does so much stuff, right? And if we were to compare like the upper echelon of exotic weapons, especially exotic heavy weapons, we do have the Whisper,
Yes.
and we do have the Sleeper, and they're unreal. But the thing is like you can use your Thunderlord against the massive amount of just the low tier ads that also spawn. You can't do that with the Whisper. You can't do that with the Sleeper.
Nope.
Like in a pinch, if you need to kill it, like the 17 thralls charging at you or the 17 scions or whatever you need to do, Thunderlord will melt them all. You don't want to be whispering them. You don't want to be sleepering them. And so that's the power of the Thunderlord. It's like, it's amazing at DPS. I don't think it's quite sleeper level, but it's close. But it's also unreal at ad clearing, and it's way beyond obviously the sleeper level there. It's more like it's like a sunshot. It's like a 62 round of the magazine sunshot.
It's insane.
Yeah. I want to also double down on what you're saying because I think the key for it for me was I expected it to be good against the ads and stuff like that. But like you said, single target DPS when you get those extra lightning strikes, it almost has a outbreak prime kind of feel, like again with the single target DPS, where like you remember when the nanites used to come, you get additional damage. Now you're getting these extra lightning, that kind of stuff is pretty cool. And just like you said, I mean, just low level ad clearing and those extra explosions with a sunshot kind of a feel. It is so versatile. That's what surprised. It's the versatility of the weapon. It really impressed me. How much did you get a chance to touch Ebontis with it?
Oh man, like it's as you were saying, it's just the idea that you can clear so many ads so quickly, but then turn around and look at a heavy guy, and it feels like I almost melt him just as fast. I mean, the
Yeah.
gun is insanely powerful. You see the crits going down like a orange bar majors, just health is falling off, and then you switch over to a boss, and everybody dies fast to this gun. It's honestly been so much fun. But I mean, as Rick's saying, it's like the versatility of it, as you're saying, sleeper and whisper, yeah, that single shot. But yeah, you can shoot a couple ads, and then turn right back without having to switch weapons and keep going on the boss. Just its versatility.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they definitely started really powerful with a heavy machine gun, which kind of makes me wonder if the others, like the ones coming in Black Armory, are even going to be as remotely as good. Which of
Well,
course
that's
they
what
probably
I'm
won't
wondering,
be. Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
is this the best exotic heavy or power in the game? Like,
Oh, it might
honestly,
be.
Yeah.
Like
if
I
you're
mean, you
doing a
said,
PvE activity,
Mhm.
you're doing a strike and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Like, if you're doing Gambit, there's an argument for some other stuff. But if you're doing a strike, if you're doing even like a raid, if you're doing whatever you're doing, Flashpoint, whatever,
Uh-huh.
you're gonna use a Thunderlord.
yeah. I don't see why not. I literally can't tell you why not. I mean, the only thing, unless you're just trying to really snipe something at range, maybe you just want to go whisper. But you have so many bullets in this thing. Just start shooting. You'll kill it.
That's true. Like I mean, if you're doing specifically Eater of Worlds or whatever, maybe
Yeah,
Whisper.
maybe that.
But it's very specific encounters.
Yeah, man. And I mean, like I said, I was completely blown away. Really lovely gun. But I have something to say about the quest.
Well, okay. Well, here's another can of worms. The quest, the Master Ives mystery, the crazy hyped thing. What'd you think? Great quest, right?
I gotta jump in. I was underwhelmed, y'all. Like, listen, I thought them trying to make a murder mystery thing in connection with Festival of the Lost was a cool concept. I'm like, okay, cool. I never liked that Crypt Arc anyway, so let's see who killed them. Okay,
You hate
fine.
him so much.
Yeah, I know I'm a hater. This is the old ILP. Oh my god, I'm a hater. I used to get I never got fair credit for those house banners I used to turn into him. Always felt Rahul gave me more, but that's another story. But yeah, man. So it's just like okay, cool. And then we all know how simple the steps were. Okay, cool. But I thought it would be more of a payoff lore wise,
No.
and going to the Cosmodrome, dope. Like D1 feels, nostalgia. You get there, we kind of got the bullet sponge kind of boss, a little bit more health than usual. And again, it's just I didn't felt like I got any real conclusion besides the fact that we saw Ives banner, on top of the teleporter.
Yep.
And I don't know. It just felt lore wise weak. But that's just me. What did you feel, Kackis? Am I going too hard on it?
I think, like, it wasn't that unbelievable of a quest if you think about, like, it was spread out between 3 weeks, and the first 2 weeks were kind of a joke. The last week made up for it a little bit. Going back to the Cosmodrome was sweet. Like just it was very nostalgic. It worked like it's one of those things where if they brought back the Cosmodrome in potentially a different way, they'd be getting criticized for reskinning and stuff and for being lazy. But for this specifically, because it's like an old weapon and stuff like that, and it technically in this place in the Cosmodrome is where the Thunderlord dropped in that trailer, like before Destiny ever released, and so that it's very nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was technically this quest for a free event. It was it's not just randomly part of Forsaken. It's a quest having to do with the Festival of the Lost. So it didn't necessarily have to be huge. I think part of its downfall was, it kind of got discovered in the database, and then I mean, the Thunderlord was like baited for like 4 weeks straight, so everyone was expecting some insane things, and then that kind of, I think just the hype of the community was the downfall of this quest. If everything would have like been kept secret, I think it would have been like a lot more positively received.
I see where you're going.
But I do agree. Like, I think they could have done a little bit more, especially with the first 2 quest steps. Like,
No, I agree. Ebontis, what did you feel about the quest itself?
I mean, I'm pretty much in agreement with you guys on a lot of pieces. As you said, the nostalgia was cool. Going back to Cosmodrome, and honestly, because the 5 scannables you've got out there, those were probably the most insight we've ever had to Holiday, just to see a little bit of her thoughts on things. She was actually, the one in the car with the 2 skeletons was like almost sad. Those pieces were kind of cool. As you said, the nostalgia going back to the Cosmodrome was literally like a throwback 5 years to E3 trailers and stuff like that. So I mean, that was really cool. But I also think, as you said, it's like the quest steps could have just had more. It didn't have to be crazy, but hey, go get 10 pages. Okay, maybe here's a quest on each planet to go get a couple of them decrypted, and like you just give you a little more pieces to do, so there's a little more length to it. Because it was like, go do one public event, you'd almost have it done. Okay. And then that was literally almost as quick it was. Like, if you burn through the lost sectors, because I did them all together, it was like, literally ran down, supered him, ran down, supered him, ran down, supered him, and then like went to the other. It's like you could have the whole lost sector piece done in another 20 minutes. Just if there was just. Sorry, go ahead.
For the first part, you didn't even have to go to the EDZ. You could just like go to Dark and just buy a bunch of engrams and decrypt it. And it was like, you found all the lost pages. Like, sweet.
You're like, yay! It didn't have the feel. Like, the nostalgia was cool going back, but just a little more is all I think a lot of people were asking. But yeah, I think the biggest piece was, I mean, Kackis said it right, was the spoiler. Everybody knew this thing was coming. If we wouldn't have known and finally were like, hey, Bungie's like, go see what's out there, they literally tweeted like an hour later, go get your Thunderlord. They even kind of ruined it. I was like, come on, guys.
Real talk. Yeah. Like, shout out to Dizzy in the chat. He said, why was Amanda Holiday chief inspector? And shout out to Drew. He said, considering the reward for the murder mystery, at least it's worth doing. If Thunderlord wasn't as good as it currently is, it'd be a bit of a waste of time. Yeah, I agree. Again, I do feel what Kackis is saying with the data mine did hurt because we didn't know about it. But like you said, Ebontis, when Bungie themselves are like, go get it. It's like, okay, it ain't this big mystery that, you kind of hype it up to be. But I don't want to complain too much.
Yeah. Something that's having a good point just now is like, like, it's weird, hey? Not that insane of a quest. Connected this free event, but what was another random secret quest that came out that led to an exotic was the Whisper one, and that was nuts.
Like, so good.
Nuts. And compared to that, this is trash.
Oh,
but like, is everything going to be a Whisper quest? Not necessarily. I don't know.
I was like, it can't be all that good, but like, as you're saying, Whisper for me was like one of the coolest moments for Destiny in a while.
But something else we need to think of this quest, right, is this is not necessarily a Whisper type quest in its design as like this crazy secret hidden exotic. This entire quest is a teaser for next season, right? Yeah. One of the biggest things Bungie is doing next season is bringing back machine guns. So getting an exotic machine gun that's really, really good in everyone's hands, this is kind of a marketing strategy, right? Like, this is kind of like a little bit of a teaser, right? In the best possible way for us players. I wish they did like marketing teasers more similar to this, is giving us an exotic weapon. But again, you can't make it too hard because you want almost every Destiny player to go out and get this weapon and say, this thing's amazing. And then when Bungie says, guess what? We got more of these machine guns coming in Black Armory. You're like, oh my God. And you're like signing up. You're like shoving your credit card onto your screen. You know what I mean? Like, you're really excited for the next expansion because of this weapon. So you got to think of it that way. It can't be too hard because then it doesn't work as like a teaser for the next season.
I see where you're going with it. I mean, listen, it's great promo. I agree with you. I mean, it's one of those things. You're setting up the new DLC. I get that aspect. I'm actually, cool with in that regard. Again, maybe am I being a little selfish because of the, we got things like Whisper? Maybe. I just was hoping that, there was more clarity with the actual story behind the mystery. You know what I'm saying? Again, that's just my thing. Again, nitpicking in reference to that. But overall, the gun itself, absolutely amazing. Machine gun is a new weapon type coming back to Destiny. absolutely.
I'm hyped for it. Like I was saying, I mean, the marketing strategy, it worked on me. Like I'm so hyped for machine guns now. I really want to see what they're doing with the legendary machine guns. If they bring back like the BTRD, it's done. It's done. It's over. Right? Like it's over.
Yeah, man. Mine was it Quillum Terminus?
Quillum's
Oh,
Terminus, that was the King's Fall one. Yep.
baby, right there, man.
That's
Oh,
freaking bees.
yeah, it was beast. It was
I just
beast.
always remember it's like, and that like we've talked about this a little before. It's like in PvP, that was my go-to was heavy machine guns because the amount of you only needed 3 or 4 bullets to kill each person, and the fact that you could run around and get like 5 or 6 kills, just spread that clip out. It was so much. I just like pick up the heavy ammo, wait for everybody to waste all their rockets, and then go into the mix and just start destroying everybody. And
Yeah.
now, if you're the only one getting it as opposed to D1, you're just gonna wreck like 5 people without trying. So
Kackis, let me ask you a question. Do you think now with machine guns reintroduced that we will finally get armor that will have specific machine gun perks?
I think it'll come with Black Armory. I'm
Okay.
wondering if
Mhm.
like I think it'll come with Black Armory. I hope it's retroactively applied. So it's like you can go back and get Dreaming City legendary armor that
Mhm.
can now randomly roll with those machine gun perks that you want instead of just you have to get the new Black Armory armor,
it's just in the
Mm,
perk pool now. Hopefully, is what you're
Exactly.
going for. Yeah.
that would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, especially as people are still going to be doing the old raid, like Shattered Throne, stuff like that, they need to make sure, again, because that's one thing we're asking about too, the more perks, the better. So if you have more reasons to go get drops everywhere for this type of stuff, that'll be good.
Hmm. So what else we got, man? What's going on?
So, I mean, yeah, Thunderlord's Beast Mode quest was, but yeah, I was like, they're not all going to be amazing. But if you did get your Thunderlord, which hopefully everybody did, you got a crazy, long sleeve T-shirt with. Are you gonna have to get this one with your 4 Horsemen of Gaming holding your Thunderlord
Yeah,
and Lightning
you know
Bolt?
that's
Like
me,
this,
bro.
this speaks right to you.
Oh, that is so me. Like that is literally like one of our designs. We have like a 4 Horsemen of Gaming thing with the Iron Lords. That's the next line of coming up of T-shirts, and Bungie beat me to it. That thing's fire. I gotta get that Thunderlord rocking. Oh, that's so me. That's
Dude,
me.
it's gonna be so exclusive. You have to get a Thunderlord? How difficult?
I know, right?
No one's gonna have this. It's gonna be rarer than that jacket. People did that crazy
with
activity
that
for.
shirt. That's like I'm gonna be wearing my week 1 raid jacket, and everyone's gonna be like, "Yeah, but do you have the Thunderlord shirt? You scrub."
It's exclusive.
Dang.
But cool design. I'm not a huge long sleeve person, so I'm still trying to decide. But it is there, so I might have to do it. But I like the design though. It is pretty cool.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's me too. Like my biceps are so freaking huge. Like I don't think they fit in those. Like I'd be busting through those. I'd be making it a T regardless. I'm just kidding.
We gotta get some tickets for Rick's gun show. This is gonna be crazy.
Kackis got the guns ready, so he said that joint can't hold them.
So here's the question. Just with regards to the date of this quest. The quest ends in 10 days. So unlike Whisper that's literally there every weekend over and over, after, this season ends, it's just in the like exotic loot pool. So then if you don't get it or you were out of town for 2 weeks or something like that, I mean, do you think it should always be a quest available just to get, or do you think it's okay with it going in the loot pool? What do you guys think?
I'll jump in it. I think for me, I thought the way they handled it, like it almost seemed like limited time at first. So I was assuming, okay, they're trying to promo getting everybody back on the game right between DLC release and kind of like do it that way. And I was curious to see, okay, if it goes away, then what happens? It was that you can't ever get it. So I'm assuming it's going to go into the pool, like you said. And I don't know. I'm indifferent, to be honest. Like I'm not like pissed off that it's going in there and that people shouldn't be able to get it. Like, obviously if you were out of town, this at this period when they did it, then you would be screwed. You know what I'm saying? So, I do want other people to experience the gun. So, I mean, I guess that's okay. I'm not really either way with this. Like, I'm not like angry. I'm not like super happy. What do you feel, Rick? Like, cause how you feel?
I'm fine with it. Like the quest is pretty easy. So if you're out of town for an entire like month or whatever, yeah, you might get screwed over. I think, like, I can't imagine anyone like who really, really wanted it wouldn't be able to get it.
Right.
It'd be like people who really aren't paying attention to like any part of the game.
Facts.
Like I'm sure there's some exceptions. Like I don't want to make it seem like someone still might not end up screwed, but it's not going away forever. It's just being put in the loot pool. Like, it'll be harder to get, but it's not like unacquirable.
Right.
Yeah.
Make it as common as year one exotics, and then it'll drop all the time.
Oh, believe me, we've been all over that. So
Oh man.
we get you here. It's like, I mean, I know if you've had your thoughts. We've had our discussions on it. Like, just a quick little tidbit when you talk about year one exotics. Are you for or against like where they're at right now with the drop rate? Just a quick thought from you.
Well, let me finish eating this thing that I've been trying to like subtly eat in the background.
Hey, you've been doing it well. I didn't catch it. So
I think that I mean, for me, I got the Shards of Galanor like I tweeted out about it.
I saw your tweet.
Must have been a few days ago.
yep.
You know? And that was my first piece of Forsaken exotic armor, right? And it's not like I don't play the damn game. I play quite a bit, and
No, this is like your first week
for that
back
to
into
drop like as my first one, like that's pretty insane.
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't mind it being a low drop rate. It makes exotic special, and it's what I was asking for. Back in vanilla D2, or sorry, vanilla D1, like when you saw someone with an exotic, you were genuinely like, you're like, what is that? What does that do? A Monte Carlo? Like what is that? You know?
Yep.
Exactly.
And it was so cool. Like I remember when we were first doing the Vault of Glass, someone had a hard light, and like the rest 5 of us were like all crowding around and watching him shoot it. He's like, he bounces off shit, and you're like, oh my god. And it really just like it made exotic so special. So I don't mind them doing that in this game. Like it's annoying, but when you do get one, like when I got my shards, you feel like amazing, right? And that's the positive. But I think they should have introduced that exotic protection that they introduced on the 30th, like from the start. Because if you're gonna make exotics super rare, don't add RNG on top of RNG and also make it so you're getting all these year ones. You have no like protection from stuff you've already got. You have no duplicate protection, and to add insult to injury, every time you complete an exotic quest, you're reducing your chances to get the things you want. Like there was like 3 things going against you, and I felt that was a little too much. So this drop rate, but with some duplicate protection and not inflating the loot pool with stuff you don't want, like that should have been in since the start.
I agree. I got a question for you. I want to flip that. As a content creator, Lord Kackis, like, how do you feel? Because remember, a lot of us, we go to you. Right? We're like, okay, the new exotic came out, Kackis gonna put it through its paces, so because of this drop rate, as a content creator, though, how do you feel about it? Does that affect you because you can't get these reviews up and you gotta reach out,
It was so bad I didn't even bother with reviews. I mean, most people who put up reviews were just boring people's accounts. And I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, because it's like, I mean, how are you going to put up all these different exotic things and when there's such bad drop rates? Like it's impossible to get them yourself. You have to bore people's accounts. But then you don't actually get that much time with the weapon, right? Because you borrow someone's account, you play a few rounds with it, and you try to put up a video. It's still a good explanation of kind of the baseline values of a weapon and how it kind of acts. But it's not a real, you can't ever really be super in depth unless the person you're borrowing their account lets you like have it for an entire day, basically. So it can create some problems with the super low drop rate. But at the end of the day, I kind of just pace it out when I could. When I was luckier with the weapons. Like I did get I did get a decent amount of weapons, and so I was doing the raid versus with those when I got them, like the Cerberus and so on. But yeah, like it definitely makes things challenging with the super low drop rates for sure.
Interesting. No, I was glad you asked. I just wanted to know your perspective on it. What you got, E?
Well, Season of the Forge. we finally have an official date. I do have to say though, we'll get down to where it's actually listed at. But do you guys like how they dropped the date for this one?
Interesting, right?
It's literally just like it's where I gotta find it. Flip of the coin. It's somewhere. It's literally just in a paragraph.
Yeah.
It's down here, so we know it is December 4th. Will be Black Armory. It is official. Season of the Forge will begin on the 27th. That's their kind of pre-week, same way they did Forsaken. Your week of buffer while they kind of iron stuff out and turn one off before they turn one on. We'll get our Vidoc on the 27th, which is also the closest we're ever gonna have, and a full gameplay calendar to show us what comes with Season of the Forge. But as we're still waiting, and I was talking to Kackis about, or not Kackis, sorry, you're on the mind. I was talking to Cognito about this as well, and he's giving me a hard time. But just my thoughts on all this is the fact that we've never had this short of a marketing window. I mean, I know, as you said, Thunderlord is kind of doing a little bit of that, but as this is the annual pass, first time we're seeing it, we're going to get a week before this thing comes out to know what we're going to get. So what do you guys think overall, just with the timing of the release and just from the little bit that we've seen so far?
A little more than a week, right? Like, we've got a little over a week until the 27th, and then it's another week until the 4th.
Right.
Yep.
So they're going to be teasing stuff like up to the 27th. They're going to be teasing stuff starting like now, starting today, basically. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be stuff coming out next week and the week after, and then up to the 4th. So, I mean, I don't think it's that condensed, but it's a little condensed. But that's kind of the thing now. Like, that's the new like trend is like release stuff right away. Don't have like these trailers that, you know, hey, 2 months from now you get this.
Yeah.
You have it like much closer to release.
Yeah, I mean,
well, hold on. Sorry to interrupt. Like,
go for it.
good example. Like, I mean, for Call of Duty, when they're in Call of Duty World War II and stuff, there'd be like a new event where it's like new weapons, like changes, you know, the look of the entire game. It's like the St. Patrick's Day event, all this crazy stuff, or the zombies event or whatever. They would announce that stuff like the day of. It'd be like the trailer would come out the day the event goes live. Right. So it was like, it's here. Here's what it is. Go play it now. It's very like there's the era of the trailer that teases something coming in a few months is over. It's like everything happens very quickly now.
Right. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned this because me and Ebontis have gone back and forth on this subject. Well, it's been a very intense subject. Me and him playfully tease each other, and I get Ebontis' point. You know, I know he's like, look, man, like, you know, things coming out. We haven't really got much info, and based on previous cycles, you know, they tended to always kind of like give us those reveals and those hints and stuff much earlier. And for me, the way I looked at it was just like, okay, you know, when Forsaken dropped, in my opinion, this has been the most consistent, continual like update to a game. Like every week, even when Forsaken, you got the boom, the release, then boom, you got the raid, then oh man, the Dream City's changing. Oh man, Shattered Throne. Oh man, now we got this and Festival. Like it was this constant, you know, news cycle during the content of Forsaken, which I have never seen before. And we all commended Bungie, like, wow, this is amazing. It feels like this every week. There's something else to do, right? So as that's going on, and now we have, you know, Black Armory and all that stuff, and now they're introducing this thing called Season. Like if you look at the TWAB, it's like the Season of the Forge, Season of the Drifter. So I just think this is a shift, honestly, in the way they are presenting. And they're, yes, for Destiny fans, we're used to getting the information a little earlier before the DLC drop. But I do got to sense that, hey, you know, this is the new pattern. This is the new thing that they're trying to implement. And I honestly, personally, don't have a problem with it. I mean, we just got Thunderlord. We got some stuff to do. It's not like in the past where you just had those droughts when you blaze the DLC and then there's like nothing, right? So you're just sitting there like, okay, what's next? Kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? So I feel, you know, I feel it's a little different. And I honestly don't have a problem with it. I think we're going to get some teasers. I think we're going to get, you know, some things sprinkled out on Twitter and, you know, Bungie's Instagram account or whatever they do. And I think they'll get that going. But I will say this to Ebontis' defense. I do feel that there is a lot of pressure on Black Armory only from the standpoint Forsaken was so good. So good. So will it reach, Forsaken levels? Probably not, but it needs to be a solid DLC. There's a lot of pressure because, like Activision said, there's a lot of people who are still on the fence, that didn't jump in on Forsaken, and they need to see. Like, put it this way, Kackis, like we can't have a Curse of Osiris moment now, post Forsaken.
Yeah, that I'm gonna slightly disagree with what you're saying about having something to do every week. Like, it's definitely good when it's a height of the corruption week. You see a lot of people log on, but the other 2 weeks, I'm finding like, not too many people are coming on, and I think we're really missing. We just need one more event, like some sort, like a monthly faction rally type of event.
Oh,
I think.
I've got one you might be able to add to that. There's this thing with the gunsmith.
Yeah, or an
I'm
arms
waiting.
day, or an arms
Yep.
week.
I
Just
feel that.
one more little thing, because there has been, when it's not ahead of the corruption, you see the player base kind of really drop off because there's not that much to do, and I mean that's part of the problem with the exotic drop rate being as low as it is, and especially before the duplicate protection, where it's like, hey, do you want to just come on, do some powerful gear stuff and try to get your exotic? No, because I have no chance. Like I have a better chance of winning the lottery, right? So I think it's definitely changing now, but I think we definitely need like one more.
Yeah, and
We need the return of faction rallies or potentially trials, something like that. Just
Right.
something else to do. Like
Right.
one more thing to do would really help.
I understand where you're coming from with that. And again, my mindset with that is just like, look, we were told already that there weren't going to be any, trials this month while they work it and put it in, under maintenance construction. Cool. You know what I'm saying? As far as faction rally, I was surprised that it didn't come back towards the end of the cycle. I'll give you that. Like I thought we'd still get that this season. So they're still working on that and tweaking it. And I get where you're going with that. Like one more event would probably round things out. But I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's just my play cadence. Maybe it's just me seeing it on console. I still see tons of people. I mean, speaking on Xbox specifically, I see tons of people playing it. When I look at the Xbox top live or most played games list, it's in like the top 5. As far as activity level, at least on the Xbox perspective, I'm seeing that activity. Maybe the other communities as far as PC and PS4 may be different, and maybe that's what I'm not seeing. But yeah, I mean, and then we had, shout out to Ebontis in chat, like the meatball thing. There's a lot of people that didn't have malfeasance still, that they were unlucky, then the drop rates got
But again, that's the height of the corruption week.
right.
Yep.
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
they
When
also
that's out, it's lit. But the other two, again,
yeah, but they also increased it during those weeks when it weren't there, right? That was another thing. When it wasn't corruption week, people almost felt like they had no chance, and I got mine during that period. That's just me.
yeah.
But I feel you.
But also, like, to your other question about, this can't be another curse. But like, it's impossible to be, in the sense that, there's randomly rolled weapons now, and that's such a huge thing. Randomly rolled weapons and armor. So it just adds to the depth of the game. So when they inevitably introduce new weapons and they're randomly rolled, like, it's gonna shake things up more than just any sort of static rolled trash prophecy weapons would in the past.
All of those,
so but yeah, I really hope they bring the content. There's been the rumors of the new weapon rarity of like black weapons. Well, we'll have to see. Like, are those going to be better, like, even more rare than exotics, or right between legendaries and exotics, or a new type of legendaries? I mean, for goodness sakes, the escalation shotgun is ranked as a legendary, and it is not. It is something different, right? So
Yeah.
are they going to have those kind of unique legendaries that have those, unique perks like the escalation? Are those going to be its own category that are kind of not quite exotics but kind of close? I don't know.
That's good stuff, man. Let me ask you guys both this. What do you feel Black Armory needs to do? We all agree it can't be a Curse of Osiris kind of moment, and we know that these new Black Armor weapons are coming. It's this new category. What do you feel, just as a DLC?
We don't know that. It was a rumor.
It's a rumor, correct. But like, what do we need from this DLC so we can be satisfied as a content release?
Well, as always, honors to the guest first.
Well, I did make a video called "The 5 Things Black Armory Needs" that clearly you didn't watch. So
Shot fired. I was busy watching Thunderlord, man.
Okay. Yeah, I think that video I kind of laid it all out, so I'll try to kind of repeat in short form what I said. I think, I think there needs to be a good amount of brand new exotics. I don't want to see just a bunch of like, oh, last words back and icebreakers back and all this crap is back. I much rather have brand new exotics.
Nice.
I'm with you there.
And another thing is that I really want to see. I think my top one was I really, really want to see new perks, like especially new weapon
Stole the words
perks.
right out of my mouth. Yep.
Yeah, something that can compete with Kill Clip, Rampage. Like, how many Rampage or how many Kill Clip Outlaw rolls are you gonna try to get? You know what I mean? Like,
That's all you go for.
so if you add all these new weapons, hey, there's new pulse rifles and auto rifles, but if Black Armory hits and you get this new Black Armory auto rifle and you're looking for Rampage and whatever, as always, it's not going to last as long. It's not going to feel special. They need to add some new perks that can compete with those perks to really spice up the new weapons, I think. And I think that's a really, really big thing.
Yeah, I agree. I want to shout out Drew in the chat. He actually made a good point. I want new exotic catalysts as well.
Yep.
Yes.
A lot of guns that they still don't have them, and how cool it would have. I know for one, because I just got my Lord of Wolves, so like the gun's great, but it just burns through damn ammo so fast. I wish I had like a perk to like deeper ammo reserves or something.
Yeah,
So
that thing is crazy.
yeah, man. So it's a ton of cool exotics that I'm dying.
Or
Yeah.
what if they added catalyst for exotic armor?
Oh, don't you
Oh, I'm still waiting on that. Oh my gosh.
fire.
Because that's kind of one of those pieces. They just got done hyping up the, damage types and the orbs and stuff. But if you throw a masterwork on, you just lose all that. Or not a masterwork. Throw an exotic on, you lose that piece. And there was supposed to be those at some point, but they've never gotten around to them. So I'm waiting for that. I'm with you, like on perks, because we have, as you say, it's 3. Like, take the ones that they've got and realize not all of them are that great, and they need to get buffed in some way for what we've got. But yeah, Catalyst is the other. Can you imagine a Thunderlord with masterwork, with that helm with enhanced heavy lifting? It's just like constant super. It's a beast.
That'd be sick, man.
And then the masterwork adds Rampage.
You shoot 3 ads, and then Riven just waves a white flag. It's like, I'm done. I'm out. Doesn't even need to do anything. No, I would say for me, the one thing I'm kind of looking for is for them to do, because there's going to be this other, quote, activity, and we'll kind of get to the list of what's in Season of the Forge. And the activity I think they tried to bring in for Dreaming City was the Blind Well. And while at first it was cool, grinding up, it's a way to get, the level 4 version is a way to get a piece of powerful gear. But once you've kind of got your Seeds of Light from there and stuff like that, you don't need to grind that anymore. And if they had that type of activity like Escalation Protocol with its own armor set, maybe with specific perks, with its own weapons from that have maybe some perks, give all of those things its own set of stuff to grind for. Because if they do bring an activity in, but it's got nothing to go with it, it's still going to fall off fairly quick. So that supposed activity is what I'm waiting to see what has.
That's a really good point. With okay, you have an activity, and you have rewards tied to it, and use the example of armor. Yeah, that. I think that's one of the things that was handled really poorly, in my opinion, in Forsaken, where you do the raid, and the raid armor is just normal ass armor. Like it looks cool, but what happened to those intrinsic raid perks that we saw back in D1? That should absolutely, even for the weapons like Whirlwind's Curse. Where's the Whirlwind's Curse of Forsaken and the armor that would make you stronger in that raid? For the Wrath and Machine, they had the armor where you get increased resistance when you're carrying a Scorch Cannon. Well, a lot of the raid involved you carrying a Scorch Cannon potentially, so having that increased damage resistance made you better. Obviously, in the Vault of Glass, they had the weapons that did more damage to oracles and stuff. I love that. And that's a great thing where if you're doing the damn raid and earning raid loot, the raid loot should make you better at the raid. So you can go through it and help other people and all this stuff. I want to see that return, and I really hope it does with Season of the Forge. I hope the raid layer comes with good armor that has intrinsic perks, like always drops with certain intrinsic perks that makes you better in that raid layer.
Yeah, I agree. I think what has happened right now is that they've taken kind of a shortcut, and they try to introduce it with Leviathan with those little mods, and then with Forsaken it's more of a is it transcendent blessing,
Yep.
in the Dreaming City. So listen, it's nice, yeah, you do a little bit more damage, that's cool, but the reality is, like I was saying, it should be like those old King's Fall, Wrath of the Machine things where it actually helped with the mechanics of encounters. That's what made it cool. So it was really vital to wear that raid set because you would get those bonuses doing whatever set activity. And I do miss that, and I hope they go back to that. I felt like they realized they messed up and they did a shortcut with this mods thing.
Yeah.
But it kind of undercuts itself because, like I said, if I have a Forsaken armor set with Transcendent Blessing, I can't put in another mod that I may want to use when it should be a feature perk of the set. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
I think hopefully it's something they address. I really hope they really dig down even deeper with the armor stuff. And like Kackis said as well, like if they had anything like, armor, exotic catalyst, man, that would be so cool to see how they can implement something like that.
Yeah. I think the other
Yeah,
piece for
it
Go
also
ahead.
just goes to make the armor feel unique for a special activity. Like putting on a mod is so different than having an intrinsic perk that like uniquely spawns on armor.
I agree completely, man. So with you on that. Big time.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, so I mean, everybody keeps saying mods. One other thing to add for Season of the Forge, give us like 2 new mods or something. Like, just throw a couple more into the mix. That'd be nice. But the one thing that I'm thinking about is, you said Wrath of the Machine. When things drop from activities, especially like this raid lair, which I know it's a raid lair, and they might have to look at the Last Wish, but it's like so many of you guys are still using like inaugural address and what is it, Midnight Coup, just because it has Outlaw and Rampage and it's already good. What happened to perks like Triple Double? Like if I'm gonna get the Raid Scout and it's got its exclusive perk that is raid only, those are the other pieces I want to see come back. And maybe that's like a black level weapon where it's got its own piece, but those type of perks were literally, that's the only stuff people would use because those perks were truly better from that in-game activity than anything else you could get, and they need to get back to that too, I think.
Well, I think that's potentially why they're gone. Is like I'm not disagreeing with you. Like I think like Wrath of the Machine was like the best raid weapons of all time because they were so unique and they felt so different than other weapons. But like that's kind of, I think that's what Bungie wants to avoid, is like everyone using the same weapons. They want more variety. And when you have this, the scout with Triple Double, Chaos Dogma, I think it was.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds right.
It's like, why would you use any other scout rifle? And in PvE at least. So that I think they're trying to avoid scenarios like that. I mean, with the auto rifle, Genesis Chain, like why would you use any other auto rifle in PvE? You wouldn't, right?
Right.
So then again, they do the same damn thing with the escalation shotgun. Why are you using any shotgun?
Yeah, I was like, nothing even comes close to that shotgun. Nothing.
In PvE, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting what they're gonna do with. I'm interested to see what they do with the new raid layer stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the raid is one of their big selling points. So it's like, how do you get people in a raid more? Give you a reason to go in there. So that's just, as you're saying, it's a balance of like a double-edged sword. It's like, yeah, we want people to have a variety of weapons, but then if everybody has a good enough weapon from a patrol, then why do I need to go run this crazy thing and bash my head against the wall for 6 hours? So I don't know. And I was like, yeah, it's like they never have an easy task of balancing all of this stuff out. But I think we all just want some more variety and some more vibe. If they want us to have more options, again, as you said, better than 3 perks would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, Vidoc will be coming on the 27th. Hopefully it's going to open up a whole new thing. Feel like I can insert the Aladdin song right there. So a whole new world. It fits. Full gameplay calendar. We haven't had a calendar in a while either as well. We had the one for Season of the Outlaw, and now we're hopefully going to get something to see what comes. We've got the, what is the January event that I cannot think of right now? I've got it on another picture. I'm going to cheat.
January event. I'm trying to think.
Dawning. Sorry. I'm cheating.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, the Dawning will be coming. I mean, here, we'll look at this right now just because it's right here. Heavy machine guns return. You got new weapons, which will be good. Crucible content, Iron Banner, gameplay updates, seasonal ranks. That's all basic stuff.
Right.
The new Forges of the Chain activity. That's the one everybody's got to know what that is. You've got the Black Armory itself. You've got exotics, raid lair, legendaries, triumphs, and bonus rewards. So that's the big list.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So what do you guys? I know we covered a lot on here. Is there anything else you want to add before we kind of move on?
You know what's
Think,
weird is with the dungeon
mm-hmm.
with
Oh, that was
Shattered
so good.
Throne, that was
Mm-hmm.
basically a raid layer. Like you could
Yeah.
have called that a raid layer, and everyone would have been like, "Cool."
Yep.
Yep.
No, except for the fact that I think if you did, it would have to have its own unique rewards.
Mm-hmm.
But if they had its own unique rewards and they said, Forsaken is coming with a raid and a raid layer, no one would have batted an eye for that, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
I agree.
But the existence of that, what does that say about Black Armory? Because new raid layer, okay, so it'll be, a raid layer type activity. It'll come with its own unique rewards, which is kind of the biggest factor of being considered a raid type activity. But is there going to be another dungeon?
I hope
And
so.
if there's not, are people going to be expecting that? Like, I think that's really interesting. Like, Forsaken had so much content that there's a lot of pressure on Black Armory. It's much
Yes.
less expensive as an expansion, but there's nonetheless going to be pressure on it to keep bringing a decent amount of content forward.
Completely agree. I think that's the key here. I think because one thing that we have to realize, like I said, is because one is a true expansion. This is kind of like a smaller update. You know, do we is it fair for us to kind of keep our expectations lower based on that, or because the stakes are so high, they have no choice but to continue that level of content or Forsaken? And that's going to be the key thing with Black Army. I do think it is a critical DLC. I do think there is a lot behind it just to keep the base going, and I'm dying to know about this new Forges of the Clan activity. I'm dying to see where that goes, and maybe have something on the level, which I thought was great. I really don't think Warmind gets enough credit. Like Warmind is as much as the lore and stuff, the story narrative could have been a bit better. I really felt it was a strong DLC with the grind, and as far as the secrets, the mystery, the rewards. You had Sleeper in that. You had Escalation Protocol in that. These are really cool activities, man. And if they continue that hardcore grind for the for the hardcore guys, in conjunction with that other stuff, I think they've got a shot. But they've got to bring it, man. I do agree with you.
So something I've heard about Black Armory is that a
Explosive.
good way to think of it is not like an expansion. It's a content stream
Mm,
where this stuff is it's not like we're going to get a lot of stuff on the 4th, but I think stuff is going to be rolled out a little bit longer over a period of time, where kind of like Forsaken, where the height of the corruption, we
yeah,
got a bunch of content when that, after 3 weeks when that stuff dropped. I think Black Armory may be doing stuff similar to that,
that'd be cool.
where we maybe get like, and another good example, we didn't get one of the strikes until the raid was beat, stuff like that,
Yes.
where the content isn't all given on the first day. It's rolled out like, oh, we have this and this and this, and it just kind of keeps people
Mm-hmm.
coming back rather than giving them everything day one and then having everyone get everything done and grind through it super fast. So
Yeah. What do you feel about that, E?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense because you kind of said it, you had the right terminology, I guess. They're at this breakneck pace. They threw so much at us with Forsaken that for them to be able to keep up is like kind of crazy. But do they trickle out something, as you said? Do we get access to the Black Armory? Then maybe we get this, Forges of the Chain that comes a week later. Then the raid lair might get a week or so. I mean, I haven't even thought about what the power level is going to be. If they're
Yeah.
going to boost it or not. Like, I mean, we're at 6 now. Do you go 650, 7? Because the longer that grind was, and as they have it slowed, I mean, when you go from 540 to 600, doesn't, I mean, I'm starting a new character just to get my third one up there, and it's like, it's going to take a while. So if they
Mhm.
have that piece in there on top of this stuff, if they trickle a few things out, as you guys are saying, just that steadier flow, but maybe not just smash us with everything, that may actually lengthen the use of the content, which is probably something they're pretty much hoping for, I'm sure.
I'm
Yeah.
just praying that the raid layer isn't 3 days after this damn thing comes out.
Oh, please, yeah. Nope,
Like, uh, just make it a week. Make it so we can actually, like, even if the grind is as strong as it is now, which it is very strong, like, if it comes out a week, we just have time to enjoy the expansion a little bit more. I
Yeah.
think I think the problem, like, Bungie tries to keep everything hardcore now that they were criticized for not doing that with Destiny 2 launch. And I think it's important to remember, like, we like the hardcore players will get there. I'll get
Right.
there. I will get there, and I will, and hopefully I can beat their raid the first day,
Mm.
or at least the first week it comes out, and I probably will get there. But it's such a furious grind that you miss other aspects of the expansion, and then you very much risk getting your most hardcore players like burnt out if
Yeah.
you make play 20 hours a day. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
And that Forsaken grind was real, man. Like
And
that
the
last
yeah.
fish raid grind, man, the community was in an uproar about that. Shout out to my man Fred Miller. We was going back DMs and stuff. And I feel him. Like I understand where he's coming from, and got unlucky and stuff like it was a very interesting handling of leveling up pre-raid and the way they did it. So I'm very curious to see, you know,
Yeah,
how
I
they
think it was a
handle it.
little.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit too much RNG.
Yes.
Like, I don't mind it being hard, but it was like you'd get into scenarios where you would have gear such that, hey, if I get a helmet, I'm leveling up 5 power levels. That's insane with one helmet.
Mhm.
But if you get gauntlets, you level up 0. You're screwed. So
Yep.
you'd get in scenarios where you got gauntlets twice in a row. Like that's so devastating. Like that's like a day of grinding gone.
Yeah.
Like just because you got screwed by RNG. And so
Mhm.
having like no RNG protection, just like some people just ascended so quickly because they got super lucky, and some people just got screwed. And I think that it was handled poorly in that regard. I think just a little bit of RNG protection, or just it programmed in that even if you get powerful gear, and even if you get gauntlets again, and gauntlets are your highest item, it should always increase by 1.
I
So
want.
yeah,
Yes.
just so it's some sort of boost
Mhm.
that you're not completely screwed and you get something less than what it is. So it'll still be suboptimal,
Right.
when you get gauntlet, you highest as gauntlets and you get gauntlets again, so you only go up 1, but it's just something, and not just something to make sure you're not completely screwed by RNG.
Completely agree with you, and I think that needs to happen in the algorithm.
Especially now, since if they do release it in only 3 days, it's such a short time frame that RNG is going to matter so much more. Like
Yeah.
you could be unlucky one day
Mhm.
and lucky another day, and it kind of evened out over the
Mhm.
week and a bit of
Yeah.
Forsaken until the raid.
Mhm.
But with only 3 days, if you're unlucky one day, then you're screwed. You're screwed.
Oh yeah. I mean, the people who got up to like 550, 560, like, or were even near 550 for the raid, it's like, I mean, yeah, they probably grinded their butt off. They were doing the nightfall drops that would like help every little bit. I mean, they grinded their eyeballs out, but
I was over 550, and I played like 15 hours a day grinding.
yeah. So like, I mean, just to get to that level was, as you said, that's an insane grind for sure. So, but I mean, also, and that's the other kind of argument we had. It's like we had Addict on here before too. It's like the level of challenge that had, and you guys were the first ones on console. That grind and the feel of that raid for the first time didn't have the like kind of amazing feeling. The first boss down, all that stuff wouldn't have had that feeling if you guys would have been 580 and just melted everything much quicker. So it's that, I mean, and they're walking a delicate line. It's like if they do the 3 days again, it may not be that high, but if they give you 10 days, then maybe it'll be more of a grind. But that, as you guys are saying too, it feels really, it's just that psychological hit when you're like, oh, I got something. And it's a complete waste of time. Let me do my 5 Crucible matches and get nothing. That's, I mean, that's an hour and a half, depending on how those matches can go. So you just never know how it's all going to be. So I think you guys are right. Like a little bit at a minimum, but it's a balance of making it still worth the effort to get there.
I'm with you, E, because of the sense that there has to be like I said, there has to be like again, if you get the duplicate something of something you don't need, it should be like a 1 point thing. But I don't want it to be where the algorithm is just automatically giving you exactly what you need, and then everyone's just flying up to the new, you know what I'm saying? Like mad quick. I don't want that either. So I it's that nice little balance of what you guys are both saying would be kind of ideal, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's what we're hoping for. We'll see on the dates of the raid lair. I'm with you, Rick. I'm hoping it's not 3 days. Because as I mean, for whether you're a content creator, whether you're a player, and if you have a notion of even trying to try that, usually like what you end up doing is you blow through the content so fast. Most people want to like skip cutscenes. Like you'll go play your second character literally just to enjoy the story again, because and there's no benefit to that. They make whatever story there is. Let us enjoy it just a little bit longer. So
Mm,
I'm with you big time on that one. So we'll see what everything comes. We got the 27th for that piece of it. Let's
yeah.
see. So yeah, this will be the annual pass versus the season. Just the people with Forsaken. I guess we'll see, as you guys have saying, the weight on it too. Is this going to be the thing that makes people buy the annual pass?
Right.
And that's where the weight comes into all this to see if it's any
I
good.
think there is a decent amount of people. That's a good point. Who are just like waiting
Yep.
and saying, hey, what's this annual pass going to be like? What's the first expansion going to be
Mhm.
like?
Yep.
And if it underperforms, I think that's going to result in it's just gonna, like they've never done something. People forget is like this is not a normal expansion. They've never done an expansion like this where it's no fixed campaign and it's
Mhm.
just a bunch of content. This is
Mhm.
the first kind of this type of DLC we're ever seeing. So there's a lot of eyeballs on it, and therefore it really does have to perform.
Yeah, big time, big time. I don't think we're out of the woods yet, right? Forsaken saved Destiny, in my opinion. And a lot of the hardcore came back, and I see my friends list playing, and that's great. But there is a contingent, and I know we're gonna get into the Activision Bungie stuff that that I like still on that wait and see. Like they feel burned, they feel scarred, they feel betrayed by what how Destiny 2 launched. And as great as Forsaken is, I've got friends that I'm like, dude, it's in a great place. You need to come back. Let me see. I'm getting that kind of vibe. Like, let's see how the next one
Yeah,
is because
I
they don't.
can't.
Yeah,
But as to your point, you can't blame them. Like
you
No.
they
can't. Yeah,
people got burned from Destiny 2, and
I
it's
was like,
understandable that they're like, no, I don't want to come back, or they fall in love with another game. Like, dude, Blackout's hella fun.
oh,
facts,
Blackout's so fun. Like,
facts,
why
facts.
would people come back and pay another 40 bomb for a game that they, a few months ago didn't like?
Facts. And to be clear, like I'm with you. Like I tell people all the time, I get it. Like you feel betrayed. You feel like they don't deserve any more expansion money until you see a consistent level, and people are like, hey, why did they take these things out at at the start of D2 that were already great at the end of D1? It makes sense. And hopefully, they continue to get that trust level. And I don't know if you want to segue now into the thing because I'm chomping at that Activision bit, but yeah, man, there's a lot going on, and at the end of the day, the community, I can get upset with the community playing games like Blackout, Fortnite, Red Dead. There's a lot of good games out right now. People are like, hey, I don't need to run back necessarily Destiny just yet.
Mm-hmm.
hmm So we're gonna get into it. The fateful quote, the topic I've been most hyped about. Oh, man, you still there? I see you cooking up. I see the image coming up.
oh, yep. Sorry, I was muted. My fault.
Okay, there
Trying
you
not
go.
to
There you go.
talk
Oh,
over
I
you
see the
guys.
image coming up, so I know you're ready. So
Yep,
I'm
yep.
ready. This is
So I
what
mean, but yeah, I mean the same thing you guys have been talking about as well is like you got other games, you've got and this time last year coming up in a few weeks is when everyone got burned by Curse. Is like, what is this like? Infinite Forest is so lackluster. The raid lair was shorter, and that was kind of the first raid lair we've seen, and it was apartment 2D. Some people did or didn't like it. Mercury was the smallest place we've ever seen. It was a circle. And the Infinite Forest and the strikes that got duplicated. I mean, there were so many things that worked against that. That's why, I mean, that whole wait and see aspect it's real. I mean, that's not a lie. But you've got someone like, at Bungie high up saying exactly what he said. So Luke Smith, after all this Activision stuff came out saying, they weren't as pleased with, results of Destiny and its sales and things like that because Destiny 2 and Forsaken, while you may have had 60% of the player base that was in there get Forsaken, you had, 75% of the Destiny player base fall off. You may have got some back, but again, it's like that's a natural thing that happened with Curse of Osiris. So now they're saying they're not disappointed with Forsaken. We set out to build a game that Destiny players would love, and at Bungie, we love it too. Building Destiny for players who love it is and will remain our focus going forward. And he pinned it. That is his top tweet right now. He straight up pinned that one. So I'm just gonna open it to you because I know you gotta go. So you gotta jump on this one. Get it.
I'm ready, man. When I saw this tweet, I was hyped. All right, first off, full disclosure. First of all, Luke Smith is highly respected. Let's get that out. What I mean? This is the guy who was on the Taken King DLC, arguably prior to Forsaken. one of the best content in Destiny. So, his word holds a lot of weight. Now, he did a little lusted to me, I'll be honest, when D2 Vanilla came out, because his name was also associated. Not like he was the sole person. I believe it was him and Mark Noseworthy. But obviously D2 did what D2 did, and we're not going to rehash that. But I felt this was so huge because obviously the week before we talked about the Activision call, the Cody Johnson, the COO, and them outright saying, hey, that Forsaken didn't and Destiny is not performing like we'd like. And we know there's some truth to that. I'm not trying to say the man's a liar. The guy, they have their numbers. I get that, and maybe their projections are much higher. But then we also showed, the digital sales were up. We did show as far as 2017, it was like the number 3 or number 4 game in sales. So maybe they didn't get that top spot that they had anticipated, and they voiced it in that way. But I thought this was key for Luke to say this for 2 reasons. One, this is a damn good piece of content, right? And I think the hardcore Destiny community will agree. Forsaken is the best Destiny has been in a long time. And the second thing is this is pretty ballsy when you speak out on your boss, so to speak, in a way. It's a tweet, but it's a way. It's a defiant step. It's me saying, look, we're proud of what we did. You may not think that it's not great, but the community, and we're going to do well by the fans. And I just gained so much respect for this because literally when I saw the Activision CEO say what he said, that's how I felt. Like, okay, I get what you're saying from a pure number standpoint. You may not, be satisfied. This is great context. So I felt it was a little tone deaf in some respects. So I love this Luke from Luke Smith. I just hope he don't get fired.
Oh, he's not going anywhere that quick.
I know. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go up against Activision, that's real. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I love this, man. And to see the community galvanize and retweet this thing, and it just show like, yo, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Like, if y'all trying to force monetization, this is the last point I'll say, and I'll give Kackis the floor. They're trying to force monetization because that was really what pissed people off with the COO of Activision, because he's like, okay, it's underperforming, so now we got to find ways to monetize. That's the last thing people want to hear right now. Nobody wants Festival of the Cost. Nobody wants to be figuring out ways to throw money on top. That's what got Destiny in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So they've done it's in, even Eververse is in a fairly good place. You can get things through gameplay. It's outside of maybe an Iron Banner emote. You know what I'm saying?
And the Thunderlord emotes or ornaments.
Facts.
Yeah, the
facts.
it
You
emote.
got me? You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, Tess ain't out here hustling. You know what I'm saying? We could get what we want to get. And I just feel like for him to do this, man, was so big, and just to keep the essence of what's making the core happy. So that's all I got to say on it. I thought it was like a really cool moment for Bungie. I'm dying to know what the repercussions are going to be, but it looks like everyone's behind Luke Smith. So that's what I got.
What about you, Rick?
I agree for the most part. I think I'm really glad that he said this to say, like, look, we're not shifting our focus. We think Forsaken is good. You guys think Forsaken is good. We're all on the same page here. I don't think it's necessarily as defiant as some people think. Like, I don't like people like, oh, it's a big middle finger to Activision. Like, not necessarily. It was an earnings call. An earnings call is just about money. You're talking to the shareholders. Literally call it an earnings call. So, the numbers are going to come out, and they had some internal numbers about how well they thought Forsaken would do, and it didn't hit that goal. And so they've got to explain it some way, right? They've got to explain it. So saying, yeah, it didn't perform as well, potentially, maybe we can monetize it other ways. Like, it's a lot of business jargon, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to shove microtransactions into the game, because they would do that, and of course they would attempt to do that, and they would get pushback from analysts saying, no, dummies, like, we've done the numbers, we've done a bunch of surveys and stuff. Turns out if you shove the game full of microtransactions, you're going to lose even more money because players are going to leave, and they're going to say, okay, we're not going to do that. So I think you got to keep that in mind, is like, this is an earnings call, and they've got to justify the earnings, and the earnings came up short. Like, they've got to say something. So Activision itself wasn't necessarily saying like Forsaken is trash or anything like that. But even with all that being said, I still think that Luke Smith came out and said this when he did not have to. because we were, the community wasn't like rallying against Destiny. We were almost defending Destiny from Activision, saying like come on guys, yeah, the game blew up. Like I think it could have been also a little bit of an overzealous prediction of they've got to justify definitely getting funding from Activision and saying, oh look, we're predicting this much, and they just might have kind of oversold how much they were predicting. That's a potential scenario. But at the end of the day, again, Luke Smith, like you said, coming out and saying, no, we like Forsaken, and content like Forsaken is what we want to focus on. That's so important. Like, that's so important. And I think, him also saying that is another little hint at we're not going to shove the game full of microtransactions, because, I mean, the thing is, Star Wars Battlefront 2 changed everything. Like, it really showed that you cannot just do constant microtransactions and expect people to take it, because they didn't take it, and that game bombed. Dude, that game came out and I was seeing it not even on a sale price. I was seeing it in like Best Buy and stuff for $40. A AAA game for $40 instead of $60, $70 a month after it launched. What? I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that in my life. So it really showed that just pure monetization isn't the way to go. And it kind of died for EA's sins, and now hopefully other games will not follow suit and not just think that they can get away with literally everything.
Preach. Good stuff, man. What do you feel, E, with the Luke Smith, man?
Yeah, no, I mean,
he's a hero. I'm glad he tweeted that out.
Me too.
Yeah, it was nice to see him. I mean, he's one of the high ups at Bungie. He's dealing with Activision probably fairly directly, but he also wanted to, like, before we all pull out the torches and the pitchforks and go after Activision, he had to be like, guys, it's like, we're going to keep they've been making games for forever long. They've learned after these past couple of years of like, what is the community looking for? What are we going for? We actually hit the nail on the head on this one. We're going to keep going in this direction. That was a nice thing to the community. But again, but as you, Kackis, you said it pretty well. It's not that middle finger to Activision. It's just saying, hey, we thought we did well. We're going to keep doing that. He didn't mention Activision at all. He just said, this is what we're doing. And that's, even in my chat, says here is like, it is a business side. Again, remember, it's the money that keeps the lights on, so Bungie can still make these games. That money right now is coming from Activision. That's just the contract under, and that's where it's coming from. They got the big influx from, NetEase on the other side. They may be working on that other piece. But as for Destiny, the business piece of this is just one of those things. And it's, as you said, they have to explain it somehow. You have Destiny 2 that comes out to pretty decent critical review. The annual pass, and this is somewhere where forecasting may have fallen off to say, hey, how many continual active players do we have? How many people fell off? Like, I've said this before. One of my buddies, he's like my gaming dude. Like, he and I play like everything. He did not play Warmind. Straight up skipped it. And for him to do that, I was like, okay, him being burned, there's a whole bunch of people that were much, much worse. So when you say Forsaken was, well reviewed and reasonable, like taken in by so many people, that group of people that started in D2 was much smaller. So this is, as you said, answering those questions. The game is in a great spot, but it's like the content base, and now we're at a point where there's so much more competition. You just got done mentioning Blackout, which is a ton of fun. It's a AAA battle royale, which is the first one in the realm of battle royales. You've got Red Dead that was around the corner, and then I know, Kackis, there's no way you're not looking around the corner at, for sure I know both Anthem and Division 2. Those are coming up as well. Huge. Like, and those, like, one straight up PvE co-op, that's like, try pulling half your raid crew to go do that, because that's going to be straight up PvE. Then you've got Division, depending on how that comes out. If it's, we just got done talking to Mark last week, like
raids in Division 2.
Raids in Division and raids in general.
Yeah. So like all of those pieces are things they have to look at and take account of. And if Activision's just like, hey, Bungie did this, we're doing this, we've got this annual pass at D3, it's like there's so many more pieces going on right now, and I think just forecasting and stuff has got to be taken into account. And it's a point to where Activision has to justify its piece, but I still kind of wonder if their expectations were just a little off track from what we already knew. A player base fell off. When so many YouTubers were like, oh, this, that, and the other, I'm going away from, those are the signs that like somebody like Activision needs to be like seeing and go, hey, this is this is bad news and this is going to affect what's coming in the future. And it was an expansion. It's not a D number 3 that's
Right.
going to make that big influx again. So overall, I mean, yeah, what Luke Smith said is like he nailed it. He's speaking for the community and saying, guys, we're not going to screw you guys over. We're here for our community because they play this game as much as we do. And I think that
I
usually
think-
says it.
I think that's such an important point, and I kind of thought of this as well. Like that tweet shows the exact opposite is going on at Bungie, basically, than what is going on at Blizzard right now, because it shows that the
God.
developers are in touch
Yes.
with the community, right? I mean, we have 3 community. We have Deej, we have DMG, we have Cosmo. They participate in community forums. They participate. They interact with the community. Over at Blizzard, they just announced a mobile game in a room full of not just hardcore PC gamers, but hardcore PC gamers that are so hardcore they paid to be there. Like, how do you think that was gonna go well?
Yep.
Like, that's being out of touch with your community, right? That's not knowing what they want. Like, what was Luke Smith? His tweet, we're going to continue making Destiny 2 content for people that enjoy Destiny 2 content. Like what Blizzard said, we're going to make Diablo content for people who we're going to make completely different Diablo content than the people who enjoy our Diablo content. You know what I mean? Like, again, it shows that Bungie has its finger on the pulse of the community much more than some other developers out there, for sure.
Big time. I agree. Big
Yeah.
time. Last point I'll say in reference to it was just like it's gonna be curious to see how this thing plays out because just long term because obviously we know the nature. Well, we don't know all the nature of this deal between Activision and Bungie, but it's interesting because let's just say the game continues to go down a route where now the hardcore community is very pleased, right? And they're continually doing what we want and we're having enjoyment of the game, right? But then on the flip side, let's just say, from an earnings perspective, right, that it's not doing what Activision wants, what happens then? Is this a situation where Bungie looks at themselves and say, "Hey, we can't appease to these guys, and do they come up with some type of an exit strategy long term? You know what I mean? We do know they have another game going on. We know that there is at some point an end to this contract. And it would be interesting. Like I would never want Bungie to leave. Let's just be clear. Like that's one of my favorites. Period. But it is interesting if there is a disparity between the direction of the publisher and the developer to the point where this may be, again, not saying it is, but let's say down the road, create some sort of rift and they're just not on the same page. So I'm very curious long term to see what happens here. Thoughts?
No, I was like, yeah.
I agree. Well said. Like, it's just gonna be, again, with Black Armory coming up, this is the first of this type of DLC. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do in terms of Eververse? Like, we just really have to wait and see at this point.
Yeah.
I think that's literally the quote running around is like, wait and see what this thing holds. So that's why I kept bugging Cognito. Like, I want to see the Vidoc. I want to know what it's got because everybody is on that tipping point. Do I tell people, hey, go get the annual pass? I'm not going to know until a week before potentially. And probably most people are still going to be like, well, I'm going to wait until somebody gets reviews out there to say, hey, is this piece going to be worth it? Because you don't just get to buy Black Armory for like $10. You got to buy the $30 whole thing. There's not even the $20. It's a bigger piece now. It's half a full game. So you have to commit for the whole year just to get the first piece of it. So that's why the weight, I think, is heavily on this first part to set the bar, to know. And I mean, different pieces could have different levels of, scales of content and stuff like that, like the Season of the Joker. I don't think if you just do a whole thing about Gambit can be nearly as big as this like Black Armory and weapon type and machine guns. Like that's going to be the bigger piece, like the other ones later might not. And Penumbra's got farther to go, but all in all, I'm with you guys. Just like it's a wait and see. It's like crossing our fingers, but as you said, we haven't seen this type yet, so we won't know until we get it.
Yeah, man. Interesting times, man.
Yeah. So all of that out there, we might dip back in that well, but for now, moving back on through the TWAB. Flip of the coin. Did you guys get a chance to see? I have not actually watched this Gambit stream yet. I keep meaning to, and I keep forgetting about it. Have you guys watched the Gambit stream?
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
I was busy. I was busy when was stream? I was busy testing a new Astro controller. Let's talk about
Ah,
that.
yeah.
Fuck.
I've seen that thing. I've seen that video out there on your channel. Do you like it so far?
It actually feels pretty good, and it's nice that there's another kind of big player in those controller in the controller market. Like someone engaged with me on Twitter and was like, well, if anyone's trying to tell you that you not that not to just use the normal base PS4 controller, you're wasting money. And I was like, dude, you realize like you actually get a pretty big advantage. And I remember him, he was like, oh, really? Like, what kind of things do you get? Like, he just didn't know. I think a lot of casual players don't know, but like having those back paddles or in the Astro controller's buttons, it's buttons on the back, being able to use those and jump and then aim without taking your thumb off the thumbstick is so advantageous in a game like Destiny, because normally you'd have to like take your thumb off the thumbstick, press jump, then move it back on and aim. And so just like you see an enemy, you jump, then you have to like go back to your thumbstick and then aim at the enemy. But being able to jump while aiming at that enemy, I mean, every single like competitive player has a scuff or something like that to allow you to do that. It's so advantageous, in crouching as like sliding as well, and so you get so much more performance. But again, right now, Scuff is definitely the big player, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how Astro does. Like, I mean, a lot of people have Astro headsets, and they're really really good quality. So, saying, hey, the people who make the headsets that everyone like absolutely loves are now making a controller. Like, that's a big deal, and it feels really good, to be honest. Like, having actually played with it feels very very good.
Actually, two questions actually from my chat. They're asking. One, first of all, I did see your inbox. It looked fantastic. Gave me an Xbox Elite controller feel, which I love. It's one of my favorite controllers. As far as the mapping, I love how you was able to swap just so simply, the analog to the D-pad and make position. Slow-mo
Hold on, just quick. That's such a big for
huge.
so many people. That's
To me.
surprisingly so big. Like, they're like, hey, you can swap it to Xbox configuration with the thumbsticks. People are like, oh my god, like it's so huge. People really have strong preferences for those little things.
You won me over when you did that. I was like, oh, this is a the question though is Slow-mo, he said, is it confirmed that the Astro controller doesn't have motion controls? Because I know that's unique to Sony. Do they have like that motion thing involved with it, or we haven't tested it just yet?
What does he mean by like motion control?
Just like the gyroscopic.
The gyro thing.
I can't speak for Astro, but I don't remember anything about motion controls.
Okay.
Like, the thing, like, it was mainly just the design of the controller, but honestly, one of the big things is the software. Like, you plug it into your PC, and then you can change it's fully remappable all from there. And so you don't have to buy like Scuff. You have to not only buy the controller, you have to get the electronic remapping. I made the mistake of not getting one with electronic remapping, and I could not change the buttons. I had to buy a whole new one. Like, that's some BS. So Astro, you'll never have that. You can just change it from the computer, but like, the software is not just like, oh, change the buttons. You can adjust the sensitivity of your thumbsticks, of your trigger pull. You can make it so that you like breathe on the triggers and it goes like full tilt, shoots right away, basically. You can make the thumbstick so like you can make it more sensitive off the beginning, so you can flick on people. You can make it a little bit less sensitive at the beginning, so you have a little bit of a dead zone if you have kind of a little bit like a twitch, or if you just don't want it interacting for no reason. So you can change like you can change the sensitivity in different levels at which you pull it. That's insane.
That's insane.
Like, that level of customization.
Yeah, it literally, and to me, like, for guys on the Xbox side who have the controller, that's the level I like. And like I said, paddles on the bottom, and you can just map.
Well, these are buttons.
And buttons, right? Okay, buttons, right?
Which is really interesting. I didn't think I'd like, but I do like them. And I think buttons, like, thing about buttons, like, paddles can bend and they can soften and they can move out of alignment. Buttons are a lot more like simplistic. They're way less chance of breaking. Just press a button.
Yep.
So I'm glad the buttons feel as good as they do, because just the nature of being a button is just more resilient than being a paddle.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. Man. It looks great. People are hyped, man. We just got to find out from Slow-mo if they got motion. What do you want to do motion controls for, bro?
No,
Oh,
he's asking mostly about like, I mean, things like in Until Dawn or Detroit, for example, because I know I played that one. You literally move the whole controller to like gesture, basically, and it's not in a ton of stuff. But I guess it's more just compatibility across the board is what they're wondering about, because there aren't a ton, but there are a few things that do use it. So if somebody wants to switch over, and honestly, for something like that, you're not gonna go for that elite feel. You already have your main controller. If you're playing Detroit, you're not going for that,
You're not trying to like
360 no scope or anything like that. Yeah.
shrubs.
Yeah, so you're not trying to do anything crazy like that.
True.
So yeah, so just use your normal controller for that. But if you want that, as you say, the elite advantage, not moving your thumb off everything, yeah, there's no reason not to. Honestly, if you're on console.
The thing is, like, you're going against people who do have that advantage. Is the problem, right? So you are like, if you've ever wondered, how did this guy get me? How does he keep, like, how is he so accurate in midair? How's he like outperforming me? Probably, and you're using a base controller. Like, I think that's like the number one thing to like just to have one thing to up your game pretty substantially. It's just like a better controller.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's a huge event. Just, I mean, for me, even with the rapid trigger stuff and the half click.
Stops too are huge.
Dude, I really helped and like I said, I'm an average Crucible player, but it really helped my game. And I'm like, wow, I see the difference right now. So yeah, the big stuff, man. Yeah, that Astros, man. We're gonna plug that thing for you, man, because that thing looks nice. It looks real smooth over there.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to pre-order, affiliate links work. So just saying.
There you go. Go check out Kackis. Go to his page. He's got those. The links will be down in the description, guys. He's got it covered for you.
No, but I'm not.
You say this on YouTube.
Plug, like, it is like a kind of a big announcement. I'm very excited that again another big player has entered the controller, like custom controller market. I think that's like a really big deal in gaming.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't like Scuff, you don't have too many other places to go.
Mm-hmm.
You beat me to it. I was literally going to say they're the only one, but yes, exactly what you said. There's an option,
There's like
which is
Battle
nice.
Beaver and some kind of smaller things, but you don't have you don't have a lot of other options. So it's really exciting anytime there's like a big another option for gamers out there with anything really.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree, and look, man, I'm a huge fan of Astros. I've always felt they've done quality work. They've got a good representative right now, so shout out to Kackis for doing this thing. But from the A50 days, they've always had high quality. So it's real cool to see them jump in that space where there's not a lot of competition and to give gamers options. That's all we want, right? We want options. We want to see what else we can get out there. And this
like even though we're Destiny players, we're all like, yo, Division 2 Anthem. Oh my goodness. Like, what, what's going to happen? It's going to be crazy. Because that's the competition. There's a lot of other options now for those people who love those loot-based games.
Facts. And competition always benefits the gamer. That makes Destiny have to step its game up. These other games have to step their game up now because of Destiny. This is all a cycle that benefits us, and it's good to see.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Anyway, after that giant derail, but we're back. So yeah, no. This is like Kackis. Like, you may not probably haven't listened to us before, but like we call it Flashpoint, but literally the flash should be in quotes because this always turns into a long point. So on podcasts, they're never short.
My goal is just to delay this podcast as much as possible, and just I'm just basically ruining your guys' Saturdays, so that's why I'm here, right?
My wife is literally doing something else. I could sit here for 3 hours. Let's go.
Oh damn!
I might win that battle today, of course.
All right.
No.
Reconsider.
No, but no, believe me, it's like, trust me, the more time we got you on here, we're having a blast, so I'm good. But anyway, we were talking about Gambit. There is the Gambit stream, but there are some things coming to Season 5 for Gambit. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on these. Some of them people have some thoughts on, of course, opinions are out there. But they've been closely monitoring Gambit. We have our ups and downs, the solo, the singles, the melting of bosses, all that type of stuff is stuff they've been thinking about. So, Gambit bounties, for one, there are going to be a little changes to them. The rank points, rewards for your bounties, your dailies are going to be doubled, which is good. We've got numerous daily challenges have their objectives returned to take less time to be easier, so it's easier to do those bounties, so Infamy will go a little faster. And then also there's a new bounty. This is probably one of the coolest ones, to kill primeval envoys. I love how they're finally getting... I cannot wait for that. So that one's huge because there's so many people that I want to just scream at my screen when I'm sitting there playing with randoms. I'm like, shoot, and everybody's done this. Just shoot the envoy, and I can't do anything about it. So you feel like...
Dude.
Yeah, you feel like you have to do it yourself sometimes.
Very happy they did that to kind of trick the blueberries into actually helping.
It's a nice way to teach. Just what's this? What do I do here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's this Primeval Slayer bounty? Oh, or Primeval Slayer benefit. Oh, I'm doing more damage. Oh,
See, those are some of the little things I wish, though. And Bungie sometimes likes to keep things vague, and I've heard people ask for this before. Like on your first, play your first match of Gambit. I can't talk. Sorry, that happens at some point. You know that as well as all of us. When you play that first match, have it come back out and go over a couple things in that intro screen. Be like, all right, you've seen Gambit. These Primeval Envoys give you this. This multiplier does this. Just for those first people to see a little tutorial in the game, just so those people who are kind of clueless might get a bit more of a clue. I think might help a little bit sometimes for stuff like that. We could just skip right over it, but some of those little pieces would help your newbies. As you said, the blueberries get a little more of a link.
yeah, just some. Or just Primeval Slayer itself is kind of a little tiny thing in the bottom. Maybe make it a little bit more noticeable.
Yes.
Yeah.
That, hey, there's some sort of benefit going on here, you know?
Or just like that boss's health, put a giant ×2 or ×3 sitting up next to it. Be like, okay, this is something's going on here, to watch and notice it's going big. So something would be cool. Little UI stuff like that might be nice. Infamy rewards, subdivision is what they're they now award Gambit legendaries, so not just the blues. Every little subdivision is going to give it the legendaries, which is nice.
Lit.
And then the Primeval catch-up. Now, basically they're going to work on tweaking this in a lot of ways, and we'll get to in a second. But for you guys, I just want to get your thoughts on either burning the catch-up, your thoughts in playing with randoms and groups. How do you guys feel the catch-up is balanced right now before they touch it?
I'll let Kackis jump on this first. I got some thoughts.
Oh, man. It's really hard to say. The catch-up can be your downfall of, people a little bit behind. They have one good even slightly good invasion, and then they just summon their Primeval a little bit later. And, even if they don't even kill you, it's just they delay you in that invasion, and then they get a benefit, and they melt their guy, and you're kind of like, I was robbed. At the same time, it's nice to be able to come back. If they're summon their Primeval and then you do have a good invasion and you kill them and you heal, their guy, and then your guys start melting them. And so that's really fun. But yeah, I honestly couldn't say. We're going to have to see how these new changes really play out by testing it for a while and see if it's better. Cause it really, there's so many differences just in one game of Gambit to the other, depending on the team compositions and so on, and just random stuff hey, you went through the portal at the right time, the entire enemy team is standing in a good position to be hit. Your game is going to go way differently than if you come out and you spawn into an area where you can't see the enemy team and they kind of realize you're there and they hide and whatever. It's just so many different factors in Gambit that we it's hard to say changing the catch-up mechanic will for sure help in this many ways. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm glad they're tweaking stuff like that. I'm glad they're trying to find the best possible way. And if if this is worse, then they can always go back and stuff like that. But I like that it's not just static and they're oh, this is the way it is. I like how they're messing around with stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm literally on the same page. I think that it's one of those things that, like I said, there's so many variables with Gambit, and I've had matches where I felt there's that great tug of war. You know what I mean? Where they come in, you're getting some clutch kills, and you're getting those clutch heals and stuff like that. And a few times I felt man, as soon as it started, their Primeval was just melted. The opponent. Okay, so again, it's one of those things that we have to see it implemented to see how it plays out. And again, it's really cool that they're actually looking at this data. We know from a standpoint from the weapons, they nerfed my baby. They nerfed my baby, but it was needed. They nerfed my baby sleeper. You know what I'm saying? That's my baby right there. But again, it was needed, to get a little bit more viability with other weapons and stuff like that.
Queensbreaker now.
I warned you.
Hey, I don't have it yet, so I'm only getting smoked still. So
I am not on the Queensbreaker bandwagon, and I have one.
I haven't touched it yet, so I don't know.
It's unreal when you're invading or getting invaded until you need to melt your Primeval, and if you're out of escalation rounds, you're like, oh, I'll shoot it with my Queensbreaker. Oh, it does no damage. Sleeper is so good, in the sense that if you do get lucky with ammo, and you're at the end of a round with 5 sleeper shots, you can just pump those into Primeval and they do a ton of damage.
Yes, it's insane, man. So you got that. It's just like I said, it's cool to see them still tweak, and then also overarching thing. If they're doing all this now, we're not even at the what is it, the season of the Joker yet, right? Which is supposed to,
Right.
my understanding, like a huge Gambit overhaul in conjunction to maybe some type of additions to the mode.
Yeah,
I
So
think
I'm-
just to slightly, I think what's going to happen is that with the season of when the Drifter expansion comes out, you know how when you click Crucible, it opens a new menu and all these other sub game
Yep.
modes come out. I
Mhm.
think we could see some stuff similar to that with Gambit, where there's going to be like a few different types of Gambit. Like maybe there's a kind of Gambit where there's like a bank and a Primeval, but there's no 2 separate maps. Like everyone's just on the same map all the time. So you're constantly like trying to make it to the bank. Like let's say you only have to bank like 25 modes and then summon the Primeval. And then whatever team kills it first, whatever team gets the last damage on the Primeval wins the game. Like there could be stuff like that, right? Just different kind of game types within Gambit, just like there's different Crucible game types.
I can see almost like going back to like a Prison of Elders. What if it's just one team and you're going for like a score piece as well? Can you go fast? Can you burn it down? Can you work for
like a
something
PvE version of Gambit too? Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And they'd kind of give you a way to practice as well, but give you scoring, give some other stuff like give your infamy ranks or whatever. Same idea. So I like that they'd open up more options.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, interesting, man. I like I said, them just going in there in the lab, tweaking, adding stuff, figuring things out. I'm all about it. I think we can all say the mode itself is a success. When I was at E3 and I got a chance to play it early, I knew they had something. And shout out to who I was playing with, the IG and the Fire Team chat guys, Destin,
Sean.
Sean Finnegan. We were on the same team, and we looked at each other. We like, yo, this is gonna be something. This is a mode. This PvP, PvE mix. It's a good balance. And then on top of it, which I think they don't get enough credit for, and shout out to Kackis with his videos on the Gambit weapons, right? When you rank them, that I just think, in my opinion, some of the Gambit weapons are like the best in the game. Like I got my Hazard of Cast, I got my Bygones. I still looking for my God roll. What is it? Bad Omens, I believe.
Yep.
Still looking for that. But
yeah, the curator role Omens. Oh my god.
I need that. See, right now,
the only tracking cluster in the game.
I got a bootleg one though. I got a Zenobia, which has the hacky, intrinsic tracking.
Ah,
that's my little bootleg Bad Omens right now.
That works. Yeah, I've not been that lucky in rocket launchers. Mine are mostly trash.
Yeah, but yeah, like I really feel that's another thing that makes the mode strong because again, there's a nice loophole, and I know me and you, Ebontis, have talked about this a lot. Like, I would love if Blind Well had a reason to go in there. You know what I mean? Because there's really no good rewards associated with like how like an escalation protocol is and stuff like that. So I think it's in a good place. I think Gambit's in a good place, and I just like these constant tweaks and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. Like, the mode's fun, but I just keep wondering. I think that's probably a really good way to think of it. Like, it's going to have its own director bubble, different things in it. But I've been sitting there racking my head. I'm like, are they going to bring like more boss varieties in there? Is it always going to be taken as the Primeval? Is they going to have some mix up for that? Maybe there's like a weekly like crazy version that's like curated. I don't know. Like, I'm still curious to see what they do because Gambit itself is cool. I just don't know how they do an entire basically content release or stream, as we've been talking about either way, over just mostly focused on that. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, well, there'll be other stuff too. It's like that's the focus, but then there'll be obviously new strikes, there'll be new weapons, there'll be new Crucible maps. Like they're gonna expand all aspects of the game, except for like Gambit's gonna be the focus. But it's gonna how are they going to expand it? Well, we'll have to wait and see. That's like the tagline. Wait and see.
That's what I should put the quote on this one. Hey, thank you, Kackis, for coming in. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, exactly.
The tagline for this podcast. But yeah, they said, for example, like the instance, they said for the catch-up mechanics, they said like if the leading team has 7, the other team would get 4. It's literally going to be 1. So we're just going to have to kind of get a feel for what these changes are going to do. If the catch-up is now gone, or can you make that difference again? So, because if it's a stacked team and you've got 2 Geomag stabilize, like, is it that? The Chaos Reach Crazy Boots?
Oh, don't get me started. I want that so
like,
bad.
if you have, like, 2 of those, like, or something like, I mean, that's just, you could even do 1 stack and probably still melt them down. So, but, yeah, the whole solo versus team queue is a whole different thing. But I think more than most other modes. I mean, PvP, Iron Banner, you feel it, but I do think the 4-stack versus the solos, I'll win and lose some, but I know when I'm against a team every time. So
Yeah, man.
I play a lot of solos. But Double Infamy is next week, so don't miss that, guys. Double Infamy is the first part of the week, basically Tuesday to Friday, and then Friday to Monday it will be. I love how they have to be determined. It's probably when their patch time comes, but Triple Infamy over Thanksgiving weekend afterwards. So if you got some downtime, get some Triple Infamy. If
You want to get away from your family?
yeah, you want to get away, grab some Infamy. So, but yeah, patch notes. They basically did say if you guys are working for rankings in Nightfalls or Valor or Glory or Infamy, all of these are going to reset on the 27th. So any grinding that you're doing now, do it. Like, especially for that week before the 27th. If you're trying to get your second package from Gambit or anything like that, now is the time. Put that time in before it goes back to 0. So don't forget about those pieces.
I'm like 1.5 steps away. I just got to get those damn 25 matches done of all 3 different modes. Yeah, hopefully we get that done soon.
So yeah, I mean that is most of the TWAB, I think.
Well, except for the December 4th Black Armory launches.
Oh well, so I'm sorry. Where's that little line where they literally drop it?
You skip past it.
There it is. Yeah, so literally a heck of a week. In recent weeks, some players have noticed that Season of the Forge begins on the 27th, but Black Armory drops available on November 4th. That's the only place they... Yeah, December 4th. Sorry. How do they do that? How do they drop that as the date? There's no Twitter post. There's no
like
picture.
So hidden in the damn updates. Like, it's like, by the way, December 4th. Like, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes the most sense. I mean, November 27th is the Tuesday, and then that's just the following Tuesday. Like, when I heard November 27th, I was kind of like, okay, so the 4th.
Yeah.
But it is, so it's confirming what we kind of thought, but still kind of buried.
It's the subtlest way they've ever announced a date for anything ever is right here mid sentence. Just not even. I mean, there's not even an indentation or a picture or anything. It's just there. So I don't even know what to think of that. Besides, they're just trying to let people have Thanksgiving off, and then they'll come back and blow the doors off it on the 27th. We'll see.
I'll see.
But yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything to say about that thing being hidden there, Cognito? Before I
Yeah, it's just like it was interesting. It's just like, yeah, let's just slide this in here without no hoopla. Like, all right, like it was interesting to me that they chose to do it this way. And I know this kind of goes to your whole, I don't want to say frustration, but I know you've been on them a little bit about like, yo, you guys got to get the hype train going. And
not even a hype train going. I think, sorry to interrupt, but there's a little bit of a difference between getting the hype train going and just letting players know. Like, people will book off time from work for this. People will, schedule vacations differently. Like, people will, they want to be around and they want to be playing when it first comes out. And like, wait, I think you could have dropped that December 4th. Maybe they legit don't know when they're making it, but I really like when dates are dropped earlier, so you can always prepare for that. Like, you know when things are coming, and you don't have to necessarily accompany that date with a trailer. You can just give players that date so they have that knowledge.
Right. It almost, the vibe it gives me, it almost feels like it was a mistake. Like they thought they may have mentioned it earlier in the TWAB, and it's like, just reiterating something that should have been technically, highlighted much earlier. That's the vibe I got. Because I'm like, how do you just roll this in a sentence at the very bottom, hoopla? Like, it just seems weird. So that's the vibe I got. Like, someone may have...
Or they knew they would mention it, and then like, everyone would like tweet it out, and they're just like, whatever.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
I was like, you can't depend on Twitter. It's like you need like Twitter, some YouTubes. Like give all the content creators out there that one graphic that says Black Armory December 4th, and then that will spread the word. But that's not even there. Just one image with the date.
True
that.
It's like because they let a lot of content creators do the work, but yeah, it's like you guys are gonna start custom making images basically to do that. If you guys do have any known issues for Destiny 2 Forsaken, I got a couple of them up there so you guys can look in there and read over those. They've got their general movies of the week, always fun ones to watch. But down here, they do mention the Last Wish raid along will be on Monday, so that will be 1 p.m. Eastern time for you guys out there on the East Coast, 10 a.m. Pacific. Raid alongs are cool. If you guys haven't seen a raid along, check them out, or at least go check the Twitch stream later, because if you you know, if you're okay being spoiled on the raid, it's cool to see the developers talk about the details of it as they go through it. Cosmo may get fired again. We don't know. He literally tweeted that and he's like, "Oh, beep," well, like because he saw that and he's like, "Oh man, Cosmo is getting thrown on the bus," which is good because especially it helps because yeah, Dylan wrote this one, but they did say, what did they say? Just a few more heroic missions for Ashramir, and then I'll have my purple bar, all that stuff. He's like, don't forget this weekend is Iron Banner, Triple Valor. Where did they say the one thing where they're going to take a little time off? I saw it in there. They said they're basically just going to take.
Top where they're saying like next week is going to be kind of the beginning of the holiday season. There isn't going to be much info coming out, so that's kind of to the 20, to kind of like I guess 19th to like, yeah, like so next week 19th, 20 to the 24th and stuff, and then. Starting with the 27th, they're going to release the vid doc, and then that following week, 27th to the 4th, is going to be like the big chunks of info. That's not to say there might not be a teaser or something that comes up before the 27th, but starting the 27th, they're really pushing the hype train, basically.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
that's what I need to see, man. I need to see that the Bungie Studios. I need my Twitch streams. Get this thing going, man. Get the because like I said, we all agree. We do feel Black Armory is very critical. They need to hit another one. You know, it may not have to be a home run as majestic as Forsaken, but definitely something solid to keep everybody hype and engaged.
Nice lead off double, you know, get the inning going, right?
Yeah, keep the rally going, man. Keep it going.
I mean, but yeah, if we look ahead on the annual pass, we've got Season and Drifter. No new weapon type, of course, but new weapons, Crucible, Iron Banner. That's copy and pasted a couple times over. Joker's Wild. Sorry, I called it the wrong thing. New activity experience. That's that same thing. So I'm going to be really curious to see what that whole activity of the forges of the chain activity, because that's another activity. Gambit evolves, and then no raid lair with this one. So that's again where it feels like Gambit's really got its weight. And then we have all the stuff of the redacted going back to Callus, which feels a little weird, and all that stuff coming up. So we've got more later, but I guess we've got to wait and see what this one does have to hold, because we've got a lot. But I did want to ask, I know we're getting towards the end, and this will usually open another can of worms as we go as well. So, for all of our guests that we have out there on Flashpoint, Kackis, this is for you. Definitely just to put you right on the spot. For all of your time in Destiny, of which you're like all of us, we've had a ton. Give us your top 3 experiences, moments that want, like, those top 3 in all of Destiny that you've got.
In all through Destiny's history.
All of Destiny, like alpha to now.
Oh, you talk? Wait, just D2 or D2 and D1?
D2 and D1.
Damn.
Nope, not that easy.
Huh. Like, okay, I'm trying. I gotta think now.
Do you need like an example from one of us, or does that help?
No.
Okay.
No. Number 3.
Just curious.
Number 3. A combination between me thinking that it would be a waste of strange coins to get the Galahorn, because it's a heavy weapon. I was like, you can use a primary weapon so much more, and being part of that train that just had no clue what we were talking about. Like off the very start, we just didn't know, and then actually getting the Galahorn from the Vault of Glass, that was so lit.
That's a good one.
Nice.
Number 2, trying to think.
Let's go.
Number 2, I think just like just the general being in Age of Triumph. Like Age of Triumph was just such a good send off, and like the game was so complete at that point, and it was like all these raids are relevant, and like it was just really, really fun.
Oh, that was some of the best looking gear too. I missed that.
Yeah, that was like just really, really fun. Like having a new raid like every week and stuff, like just so that'd be my number 2, just like the experience and the general feelings of when Age of Triumph came out, and like it was just like such a good send off to D1. And then number 1, I think number 1 is going to be a recent one. Number 1 is when we beat like me and Nkooch and my raid team, we beat the Last Wish raid, and we ended up being the first team in the world on console. That was freaking sweet.
Yeah, that's massive. That was awesome for you guys too. So you guys were truly like number 1 on console. It's like that was amazing.
Got some clout from that, I hope.
Nice.
Did they hook you up with those fly raid jackets, man? Did they hook you up?
Yeah, I got those raid jackets. Like,
Oh,
well, I
absolutely.
haven't actually got it yet, but I ordered it. We'll see when it actually comes.
Yeah, that jacket looks so crispy. It looks so clean. I was like,
Dude, as soon as we beat it, we were getting offers to for people to buy it, including another
Oh
YouTuber.
my god.
Yeah, people, hey, can I cop that jacket from you, buddy? And we were like, yeah, I was like, hell no, I'm wearing this to sleep. These are my new pajamas. Like, get out of my face, dude.
you had to bring that through the Guardian Con, but I know it's probably too hot.
Yeah, you would fry in that thing, but yeah, next time you go up to, next time you head north or something, definitely bust that thing out. When you walk in the Bungie doors, be like, "Sup?"
Yeah.
It's like I did this. Yeah, I'm one of those.
That's what's up. That's huge,
Yeah,
man.
that was those. That's a hell of a list right there. That's an awesome top 3, especially your top one. That's world's first at 80. Like I've never even been close to one of those. So no, that's an amazing one for sure.
Even at Kackis, what was the highest amount of money you were offered for that raid jacket?
Oh no. Oh.
They it was my team members. It was like kind of the quote unquote randoms on my team that were getting offered. They didn't try to go after, I think, me and Nkuch, because they're like, oh, they didn't want to mess with us, but my teammates were getting some messages
Nice.
for raid jackets and so on. I forget like how much money they're being offered, but
More than they ever should have been, basically.
yeah, like dude, it's so dumb too, because it's like, what are you gonna walk around in a raid jacket? Then someone's like, wait, did you earn that in the raid? Yeah, bro. Look up raid report. No, you didn't. Like, the world's easiest exposure.
Yeah.
I think what it is you're right. No, that is stupid. I think what it is, I think for me personally, the jacket is so fire. Like it is something I would wear. You know what I'm saying? So I think that in a combination, you got your little logo, the Bungie thing. Now, yeah, they're gonna look like a clown, you know, because the name's not on it, and you know, and clearly not world first. But I just think people got hyped for the design. Now, do you guys get the belt also?
The belt?
Yeah,
No,
didn't it?
that was
No,
for
no,
like
no.
that was for true.
No,
that was for
that's
first.
just for like world's first overall
Oh,
console.
okay, so there's a
Yeah, that'd
jacket.
be-
Okay, got it.
No, we got nothing for being world's first on console, like in terms of being first for anything.
Got you. But yeah, but you still get okay. Got it. Now I see how they differentiate. I still want that jacket though. That jacket's fire, man.
Well, I was like, this has been awesome. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely, man. Kackis
Seriously.
bro. Mm-hmm.
I was like, your explosion as of in this past year has been awesome. I know you've been enjoying the ride, but it's definitely cool to watch as well. So definitely keep doing everything that you're doing. I was like, and any haters and stuff out there, honestly, like, yeah, I was like, I know it's like you do it enough, you'll have a thick skin. The bigger you are, the more hate that you're gonna get. And so it's like one of the coolest things. It's like I don't want to call it out and harp on it much, but it was just after like stuff has happened out in the community, and I'm not gonna bring up what it is, but just the interaction between two of the elites out there, literally. Like you and Glad, just the tweets that you guys shared to each other was exactly what this community always brings. And you guys were both positive to each other, supported each other, and that was the bring around to say, hey guys, doesn't matter what you're doing, just have fun, enjoy, and be positive. And I think that was one of the coolest things I saw recently was you two doing that.
Yeah, man.
Video games are about fun.
Absolutely. And the last thing I want to say, I want to double down too, is just that like I definitely feel like first of all, your rise has been tremendous. Just keep putting out that great content. Huge fan of your versus series. Huge fan. You know, when you bring those new weapons or new exotics, you put them through the paces, you put them through the raid, you see how effective it is. That stuff is really good, man. You do a fantastic job with that. And the thing, like I said, I give you a lot of credit. You know, a lot of people, we love this game, but at the same time, we have to be honest about things when we don't like it. And one thing about you, I feel you're like the pioneer of that in the sense of like, yo, you're going to call it how it is. Kackis is going to call it how it is. He's going to say how he feels. You know what I'm saying? And we need more of that. We don't want to just gloss things over if things don't feel right and stuff like that. I feel you do a tremendous job. And he a real one, man. I'm doing a Guardian Con when I rolled up on you. I bet you. He's like, bro, I'll come on your show. I'm like, wow, I just took my shot. And I'm like, yeah, cool as hell, man. So I really thank you for doing this, for jumping on Flashpoint. Thank you for the previous appearance on Iron Lord's podcast, man. It means a lot to us. And like I said, a lot of the little guys, we aspire to get to where you're going. Keep up the fantastic work, Kackis. You're doing a great job.
I appreciate it.
No doubt.
But yeah, that's pretty much where we're gonna wrap it up. Kackis, not as though everybody doesn't know where you are already, but you want to leave where people can find all your greatness out there in the world.
It's all good. I'm not vain. You find me if you find me.
You got to get Hollywood now. Now is the time to plug, baby.
Well, if you guys don't know where he's at, believe me, between all of our tweets, you'll find them out there. And definitely go check him out. Solid content on Destiny and other games as well. So all the stuff coming up in the future, he's definitely going to be one of your main sources, guys. So stick with him. He will be the one that will give it to you straight. So I think that's where we'll wrap it up. You guys know for me, it's Ebontis everywhere. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. You know where to find me. And then for you, Cognito.
Yeah, man. So every Sunday is the Lord's Day, Iron Lord's podcast. We 11 a.m. Eastern during football season. Got a cool desk. We got Mads Gaming. So we're going to be breaking down everything that's going on with the madness of the Sony skipping E3. We've got diskless Xboxes to talk about. So it's going to be a fun show. You already know, like I said, Iron Lord podcast channel, Sunday 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, Flashpoint with my man, my Destiny brethren, Ebontis every Friday, normally at 9 a.m., but special Saturday edition because we had Kackis in the building. But yeah, man, we're just going to talk this Destiny stuff, what's going on in the community, and all that good stuff. And once again, thanks for Kackis for coming through, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
No
shout out
worries.
again, sir. Thank you. So that is where we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys in chat. It's been great. And as always, we'll see you guys next week. But thank you again, Rick. Thank you for coming. Definitely a big pleasure.
That was fun.
No doubt. Everybody enjoy their Saturday, man.
All right.
Peace.